Hey folks, it's Amy from Colorado Mountain Living. So I wanted to get a little change of scenery for you guys. This is about as far away from the homestead as we're getting these days. I've got Viggo here with me and we're out for a morning snowshoe. And we are out on the trails way back behind the house. And it's really windy. So I don't know if I'll be able to keep the stream going and how annoying the sound's going to be. But I did want to show you a view. So I might be able to get up to the top of the hill and show you this view. So I wanted to kind of do a live stream this morning to kind of show you guys what social distancing looks like in our neck of the woods. Okay, so here's Viggo going up on his favorite hill. We are about not even a half a mile into the woods behind our house, maybe a little bit less than that, but this is the best view for sure. It's a little bit windy. So from this vantage point you can see the lake down at the end of our road. Can't see our house, we're kind of below those aspen trees there. But I want to get to the top because I want to show you where you can see the Continental Divide. So anyway, yeah, maybe between wind gusts here be able to get some conversation going. But Viggo likes coming up here. He likes all the wide open, I guess this is, I don't know if you call this a mountaintop or a hilltop with no trees on it, but it's very steep. Viggo's having trouble over there. But yeah, I just want to get to the top here so I can show you the Continental Divide. It's like a 360-degree view. Oh, it's a little tough. And then when I get to the top, hopefully I can check out the chat. But so as we get up here, I'll tell you about Colorado. As of last night, the latest updates for sheltering in place are Denver, the city of Denver, and the city of Boulder. Also, the county of San Miguel County, that's where Telluride is. That's a city that Brian and I got married in. But the whole county is under shelter in place. We're close to 10,000 feet up here, guys. I'm a little out of breath. But I gotta get to the top. I gotta show you the view. So anyway, so the governor sort of decided not to do an entire state shelter in place. He said that would be too hard to enforce. So the local mayors are taking it up for themselves whether or not to shelter in place. Last night I attended a live county commissioners meeting for our county. They did not mention shelter in place. They were just talking about all the emergency services and stuff. Okay guys, we're at the top. Oh, look at that ridge. Okay, so down there is the lake. Over that way is our house. Or maybe that little patch of aspen in the middle there. All that green, that's our house. Lots of very pretty mountaintops. And we get over to the windy side. In the distance there is the Continental Divide. So, a very windy day up in the backyard mountaintop. Viggo is still having fun, but I'm going to get down for now because it's hard to talk and make my eyes water. Okay, on, folks. It's a little tricky coming down. Look how steeply. This is what we just walked up. So imagine the sledding on this hill, guys. Talk about good times. Last winter we brought Lance up here to snowboard, and he had a blast. But I'm ready to get back to the house. So we found out that not yet, our county is not sheltering in place. Even if we had to do that, how would it change for us? So right now, it's not going to change much because already our county has been shut down for 2 weeks. Well, let's see, only 1 week officially this weekend, but they had a 2-week shutdown in place, so that means no rec center. And so I've been at home for almost an entire week. No, haven't even gotten in the car. The last trip I took was to Costco, and that was the Sunday before last. So if we were to shelter in place, what that would mean is really no change for me. I'm fortunate that I still have work. I work for a company that has an online business, so employees work from home. I still get to work with my clients and my patients doing nutrition, diabetes counseling. Right now, honestly, I've been doing a lot of regular counseling for people. The good thing is that I talk to people all around the country, and big companies that you've heard of in the news. I talk to people in Washington State. I talk to people in California, Florida, all around. So I'm getting to hear from people what it's like where they're at. And it is crazy because it's so different everywhere in the country. Some people in Oklahoma, it's life as usual. And of course, everything's changing week by week, right? So for some people, there's not much change, and some people can't even find food at the grocery store. So it's very scary. I'll take a break right here for a minute. So for some people, it's kind of concerning because they're not able to access their food. And I work with a lot of elderly patients, people with health conditions, and people are getting their medical appointments canceled. So these are the kind of things that I'm checking in on with people. Just making sure that they have access to necessities and that they have contact. Some people are unable to get out of the house themselves and are scared. So these are things I think we should all be thinking about. If you know anyone that needs help, please reach out to them. But the other thing is for Brian, he works in a medical setting as well. He works in a medical clinic. He does cardiology care. He has patients. He's the guy that you see when you need a stress test. Okay, he's the one that puts you through the trials on the stress test machine, the treadmill. All of those are canceled. All echoes are canceled. Almost all the procedures that aren't medically urgent are being canceled right now. That's what's happening in Colorado. He is still going to the office. He's doing almost all of his appointments over the phone. So he is still required to go into work. That could change. His work gave him a letter of necessity that says he's allowed to be on the roads driving because he has a medical job where he's required to be. So that's kind of his situation. Yesterday he picked up a couple of groceries. So how I see it happening, if we have shelter in place, Brian will be the one that's going down the mountain to get the groceries, getting supplies. Now, one fortunate thing that has happened is that he was able to get the delivery of the stair treads to the lumber mill yesterday. Right now, our essential businesses are going and non-essential businesses are somewhat still in operation. This is, I think, the biggest concern that we might have right now is that our non-essential businesses will close in the state. I think that's what we're concerned about. I think that's what maybe why the governor decided not to do shelter in place, just to keep some of those businesses running. This is kind of funny. So yesterday, Denver, was it yesterday or the day before? Denver did a shelter in place, and they shut down the liquor stores and the marijuana dispensaries, right? So within hours, they retracted that and said that the liquor stores and the dispensaries were to remain open. So people in Denver can still get their booze, I guess, for the big shelter-in-place order. So fortunately, our lumber mill is not in Denver or Boulder, and hopefully they'll have our order done before any other additional shelter-in-place orders happen. Because once a shelter-in-place order happens, that means all non-essential, non-medical, non-food supply type businesses have to close. So I think that would be affected. So we're really hoping that the lumber mill is able to process our order, and we can have that project to work on in case the shelter-in-place orders continue. What else is changing? So, one interesting thing, the county in Colorado that has their shelter in place, the entire county, I think there's an individual company that's located there, and they are testing every resident for the virus, and they are doing it free of charge. So everyone's going to get tested in that county, and we have some friends in that county. It's very interesting, so it'll be cool to hear how that works. But as of right now, our county is not sheltering in place, but there's nowhere to go here, right? We don't have anything open in our county. Buildings are closed. That means our main rec center's closed, the place where people hang out. There's restaurants. There's like a few restaurants. The casinos are the biggest thing, and actually feel really bad for friends that we know that are impacted by the service industry and not having work right now. Definitely feel fortunate that we are both still working, and really feel for people that are not having jobs right now, and people are really uncertain. So really we're wanting to send good vibes to everybody as far as having some kind of recovery. We don't know what that's going to look like, but I think me and Viggo are going to get back down the hill now. The sun's out, the weather's, we're going to have some nice 40-degree weather coming this weekend. It's starting to warm up, starting to smell like spring. Actually, I think the pine trees are kind of emitting this piney smell. I don't know how to describe it. I smelled it last spring, but it could be the aspens, but they're sort of waking up. Oh, and we got trouble. We've got some hikers coming up here, and I want to make sure Viggo doesn't get in their way. To the mommy. Well, I'm going to sign off, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will keep you posted.